Good morning, everybody. What's going on? So it's Tuesday, March 5th, about 8 a.m. my time. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is market structure and where sentiment is. And then a very important project that has caught my eye, which is on base chain, which is BlueCore. Okay. So first, let's get to the market. Overall, I think, almost everybody is now convinced that, BTC is going to break the previous all-time high. Not really that far away anyway. Last night we hit the high of $68,849.84. The high in November 8th, 2021 was 69,000, right? So we are barely almost, $51 or approximately $50 off. Not that hard to ping, I'm sure. But at this point, right, I think almost everybody has clearly accepted that, BTC is going to previous all-time highs. And I think that's fine. I'm not going to create a video and tell you, oh, we can't hit that extra $50, right? That's a pointless, moot point to discuss. The reality is that BTC can, possibly will, break previous all-time high. And then the question you need to ask yourself is, then what? Then what? We've had a significant amount of inflows coming in from the ETFs that were listed for spot Bitcoin, for futures Bitcoin. Net, we see for the past 2 to 3 weeks, we have approximately about 92 billion outflows and about 79 billion inflows. So clearly, a little bit more outpacing on the outflows, but regardless, price has gone up. That effectively means that the bid is clearly stronger than the ask, or rather, the buyers are stronger than the sellers in the market. Okay, so let's accept that as a fact and go from there. Okay, so going forward, right? What we are trying to figure out is this market just going to stay overheated? And in my opinion, by all measures, we are in an overheated market. I don't care what you believe. If you think that, all these meme coins are supposed to go through the roof and retail has to come in now and they have to buy your, bags of random meme coins or whatever, these are not good justifications of why the market should be pushing higher, right? The reality is over the last 2 weeks or so, the most common to uncommon memes have gone up 400, 500,000%. Even something like Doge, which is a huge multi-billion-dollar asset, is gone up 140% in the past, week and a half, right? Floki, I just showed you. Shiba, I just showed you. Pepe, Wojak, Bonk, all these assets have just gone up tremendously. So what this should make you think about is the assets have gone up tremendously. BTC is near its all-time high. Sentiment is extremely high, and everybody is talking about even higher prices. Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen this story play out many, many times before. It happened, previously at this November, December top. It also happened back here in February, March 2021 top. And it definitely happened here in, December, November 2017. And guess what? It has happened in equity markets also numerous times about how much higher stocks can go, whether it was at this peak or prior to the COVID peak, or prior to really any big peaks to happen where the market is extremely extended, which in my opinion, again, equity markets, I think, are. So the reason I'm making today's video is to make you think about something other than higher prices, okay? Because the higher prices have already happened. If you're waiting for much, much higher prices to happen from here, I don't know what to tell you, because I don't know where that extra marginal dollar is going to come from just spontaneously, when so far the prices are up in a monster way. What you need to think about is, when the selling begins, do you have a proper exit planned for, getting out of the market? Something that I wrote about here is, I now see slowly on my timeline that people are sobering up and starting to take profits, whether it's things like Doge or, Bonk, Wojak, all these big meme coin trades that have happened. And of course, we have assets like WIF, which Dog with Hat, which has pretty much gone up from 22nd of February here. It's gone from 28 cents to almost, $2, let's just say, right? Very close to $2. So about 9 to 10x it's gone up. And yet people are talking about, well, wait till Dog with Hat goes to what Doge did, right? Like Doge was truly a ZERP, massive money printing anomaly with Elon tweeting about it. Like Doge is now if we go to cryptocurrencies by market cap, Doge is like top 10 or top 10 right there. It's a $27 billion market cap asset, right? First of all, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing about crypto. I'm not here to debate, people about if memes are good or bad. I don't really care. The market is open. You're free to do, buy or sell whatever you want, but don't complain and bitch about when the market sells off in a monster way, 80, 90% drawdowns, that, you had X amount of money and you should have cashed at the top. Well, these are the top signals that I'm trying to tell you is when everybody's talking about higher prices, when the prices have already gone significantly higher and BTC is already at all-time highs and the inflows are clearly, pretty hot. Sentiment is extremely hot. We are pretty much at all-time highs across the board everywhere. Like how much higher do you want to go from here with sentiment being really high? You have to kind of think about, where is the real product use aside from just punting meme coins? Where is the marginal dollar going to come from retail? Why are they not here yet in droves, right? So my sort of scenario that I'm positing to you is maybe you need to start thinking about what if, again, this is just a big what if, right? What if we're actually in this phase of the market? Yes, we've had massive, moves from ETF inflows and all that jazz. But what if, we were somewhere here before the big run up that we're supposed to have in the next halving cycle, and the current halving cycle has already been priced in. Now, again, I know this sounds extremely bearish and you're probably wondering, like, this is such a dumb thought process, but I'm just asking you to explain to me and think about to yourself, where is the other marginal dollar going to come from when everything is so elevated in price? Sure, you can make the argument about, retail has to come in, they have to buy your bags off you, but what if they don't, right? As in, what if a lot of them have already come in, or what if, a lot of them won't come in anytime soon and the market has pretty much exhausted itself, trying to get to where it is. And it's not able to push up further until the other excess marginal dollar from, outside retail comes in. And so what if we go through a situation like this where the profit taking begins? Because again, at some point, profit taking does have to happen, right? And what if it looks like this? This right here is similar to this, okay? All I'm saying is maybe we go back to 25 to 30K for retests, pretty much by end of year, right? Or Q1 of next year. Okay. What if this is the situation that is ultimately going to give us then, some kind of massive move from here higher up, right? Then we get to go to 200 to 250K by 2024, 2025, right? What if that is sort of the optimal situation? And everyone is being baited here at extremely high sentiment, extremely high prices. And in fact, what's going to happen is we're going to get that slow bleed out. And here's where my discussion of BlueCore Labs and Base Chain comes in. Okay. So if you've been around crypto for a while, you will recognize that the market cycles have kind of shifted where some things and some ecosystems can continue to run even as BTC slowly bleeds out. When the BTC is truly puking, like it was back here in March, or it started to nuke right here, the few weeks that BTC is like truly puking, yeah, I agree. Like nothing can escape its shadow, meaning everything dumps with it and dumps severely. However, I am kind of posing to you that in this situation, maybe the next few months, okay, I believe that base chain, which is significantly growing in TVL, is going to be the main attractor of the marginal dollar. I think Solana has definitely had its time and probably will do extremely well in the future. Listen, I have nothing against Solana. It's an amazing, ecosystem project. I literally spend like 80 to 90% of my time on Solana, right? However, what if the ETH hate has reached crescendo, and what if, base chain itself is very, very sort of overlooked and underrated? And the base ecosystem, as fast as it's growing, is truly, truly undervalued at this point. See, now it's all about what is undervalued and what is overvalued. I think that's the kind of stage we are in this market cycle, which is to recognize that Solana ecosystem has already had its massive boom. It's already had its, big period of meme coins, NFT craze, DeFi craze with, Jupiter and, uh, you know, Pyth and Marinade Finance and Camino and all these protocols that have done extremely well over the past few months in terms of TVL and staking and, point systems, et cetera, right? Solana has done really, really well. Okay. But that marginal dollar, what if it doesn't come into Solana because things are a little bit overheated and overvalued? And what if that marginal dollar goes into base chain? Now, again, I get the hate of, Ethereum being super expensive. And yeah, I mean, trust me, it pisses me off all the time how expensive ETH fees are. I get it. I get it. But you know what? Moving to, bridging from ETH to base chain, yes, that costs like 10, 20, $30. But once you get into base chain fees are extremely cheap. Like they're like $1, maybe less sometimes, right? So that to me is kind of nice because once you get into base chain, it's not that prohibitive for people to start, using different protocols and these kinds of DeFi protocols and NFT platforms and all the new stuff that's really out there, right? So the reality is that Solana, I think, has come into a point where things are not prohibitive at all, like at all. So if you go to sort of, top trending assets, majority of these most of the time are Solana. You had hundreds and thousands of meme coins listed almost every day, every week, every month on Solana. So the block costs are not prohibitive at all on Sol, and that creates its own issue. Yes, Ethereum has its own issue of, having cost prohibitive fees where people cannot interact and engage with platforms as easily. But then Solana is now going through the opposite problem, in my opinion, where memes are getting launched left and right. It's hard to find true value accrue to good projects, right? So I think Solana has its own problem to solve, in my opinion, but I think it'll be just fine. Listen, I think Solana is still going to be the sort of standard for the future of how blockchains and ecosystems should build, which is with the user in mind, that the user can interact very easily. But I think there's got to be a middle ground between how cheap, easily accessible Solana and Solana fees and speed is versus something like, I think, something like base chain, which is really, really cheap, but still kind of cost prohibitive because you can't just launch hundreds and thousands of meme coins because it still costs at least $1 for fees, right? So even launching just a meme coin could cost you anywhere from $1 to $10,000 with fees related. Okay. So anyway, so I think money is probably going to go into base chain, but it will be, in my opinion, a little bit more legitimate, slightly more longer term money rather than quick in and out money. And so I kind of wanted to point out a project that I'm kind of following closely. You can read up on their white paper on their website. You can ask them in their Telegram too. The Telegram is pretty active. You can ask them pretty much, any questions about what the project is about, what the protocol is about, who the founders are, et cetera. But the reality is, right now, base chain projects are extremely, extremely cheap, and they're trading at $1 million market cap valuation. This project, BCOR, okay, BlueCore is trying to be basically, let's just say a Uniswap, if you're familiar with Uniswap, or like a Jupiter aggregator on Solana, right? That to me already, if you look at market cap at 1 million and you start looking at, some of the volume as well as the TVL that's taken place on base, and then you compare that to, let's just say, Uniswap, which trades at, multi-billion dollars, right? Uniswap trades at 9 billion. Okay. Something like Jupiter, I think, also trades at 1 billion or 2 billion. Sorry, 800 million. Okay. So this is kind of the comparison and comparative analysis that you need to start looking into, which is, if projects like BlueCore are trading at 1 million and you believe that Base Chain is going to attract significantly more TVL, users, activity, and more importantly, it sits on Ethereum. Ethereum whales and money and users are significantly bigger than Solana, right? Let's kind of admit that at face value. When they start piling in, these transactions are not, $200, $300, at 3,000, 30,000, 300,000. That's how they start buying in clips. So my thesis is that projects like BlueCore, and there's many, by the way, like BlueCore is just one project, because disclaimer, I do own some, but I also own a little bit of some of these projects, which I'm not going to talk about all the projects, just because some are very new and untested, and I got in sometimes a little bit very early, so I'm not going to pitch any of them. But BlueCore, you get in pretty damn early, because it's only at 1.1 million, 1.2 million market cap. Again, this is not investment advice. I'm just kind of telling you guys that if you are looking for the alpha of where the money could go to next, I don't think it is prudent for you to start thinking about where is the next meme coin, or Solana NFT, meme coin project, right? I think the writing is on the wall of the base chain is extremely undervalued. Users, protocols, TVL, extremely underrated and undervalued. And I think this is where the marginal dollar can have a significant amount of impact versus something like the next, meme coin on Solana, or something like Say or Celestia, or, all this, right? Because again, Base Chain is also Coinbase owned. Coinbase is the largest fiat on-ramp in the world. You don't think that they're going to make some connection connecting Base Chain and Coinbase, where users can seamlessly move directly from, US dollars right into Base Chain? Like, that's, I think, the true pitch that I'm trying to make for people, is like, think further into the future. Okay, think beyond, this chart too, right? Think 1, 2, 3 years out, and think about, where Base Chain, projects like BlueCore Labs, and of course, there's many other good projects that I'm aware of, but I just want to highlight BlueCore just because you get in pretty damn early. Like, these other projects, I'm not really, read into them or tested them, but some of them are already really expensive. Some of them are also kind of just memes, right? So the reality is, yes, the market could have a dynamic that pushes down like this for the next few months, and I kind of believe that this whole sort of new all-time high and us ripping straight to 100K is a bit of a meme in and of itself. I'm not a big buyer into that. I also think that the market is extremely extended. I think BTC, ETH, Solana are really, really extended. And I do think that the market needs a little bit of a cleansing. I think it needs a little bit of a cooling off process. And I think that may take the next, few weeks to few months. I've written several tweets about this. Now, again, I know I get a lot of shit for being sort of the sober voice, but the reality is, I legitimately think that people are going to not be able to understand when and where to take profit, because they're simply too focused of the market prices just going higher from here, because of all the catalysts that we've already been talking about for months, and yet they keep talking about much, much higher prices. But the reality is, you need to ask yourself, how is that going to bode for your financial security for the next few months, for your mental health for the next few months, if prices were to go down, another I don't know, 3 to 6 months for another 30, 50, 70% drawdown in some cases, right? You know alts very well. You know how they start losing market cap really fast. They can easily come down 50% in like 3 weeks. That's not that hard. And they can go down 90% in 6 to 9 months. So I encourage you guys to start, please, looking into your own financial security, your own mental health in regards to taking profit, considering to take profit, considering that the market could bleed out further and longer, and we may have another, long building period ahead of us. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But then also at the same time, keep an open mind to the next 3 to 6 months of where builders could go. Maybe projects like BlueCore, maybe a chain like Base Chain, right? And of course, I fully believe that Solana is going to do really well. But think about the next, good product that may come into Solana, other than just meme coins, right? I know the picture seems very rosy that everybody, on your timeline is posting about Whiff or Bonk, and they got in super early and they're cashing out hundreds of thousands and millions. Trust me, you have no idea about their, financial security or their headspace or, where they are going to get in or where they're going to get out. Just let those people do their thing. You do your thing for your own sanity. Okay. So that's all I'll say. There's really not a whole lot else I want to talk about. We can kind of go and dig more into more base chain products. I'll do that over the next few weeks. But I really, really think that this is the ecosystem that you want to be paying attention to. I think you want to start experimenting, doing your research, especially a project like BlueCore. Like I said, coming in at 1 million approximately is an extremely cheap price. And again, full disclosure, I own a position and not investment advice. I don't care if you buy or sell, but you need to start doing research and you need to start thinking about alternate scenarios other than what you are hearing every single day on crypto Twitter, which is higher prices, higher prices. All right. Good luck, everybody. Take care. Thank you so much, and we'll chat soon. Cheers.